Hey again. I also wanted to address my other post. First of all, I am LGBTQ plus friendly, and I'm also an ally. I'm a feminist. I'm for equal rights, gender equality, pro-choice, Black Lives Matter, right? And I also believe in immigration reform, and I believe all people should be treated equally. And I don't see nothing wrong with that, right? I believe for trans lives matter as well. If you're a true Christian or Catholic or a believer in Jesus Christ, you would understand that all people are created in God's image, in God's eyes, in God's worth, right? So, whatever the Bible says or you think the Bible says, that is between them and God, right? It's none of your business, right? Just like if you don't know anybody, right? If you don't know this woman wearing a particular way, how is that any of your business, right? Whatever woman wears, it's none of your business, men and society, right? If she dressed this way or that way, that's none of your concern, right? People ask me, Kendrick, why are you for LGBTQ? Why are you for trans lives? Why are you for Black Lives Matter? Because I'm basically for human rights, right? I'm 42 years old, born in 1978. Growing up in this country during the 80s and 90s, I have faced many racism, seen many racism. I've seen many racism, especially in 2001, September 11, 2001. A lot of Indians, Sikhs, and Arabs, Americans here in this country, horrible violence, physical and verbal. And most racists can't tell the difference between a Sikh, an Indian, and an Arab person anyway. It's weird. And I relate to that because most racists can't tell a difference between a Korean person, Japanese person, Chinese person, otherwise. So I've seen the pattern of racism in this country, right? And then when I see the LGBTQ community and trans people, and it just breaks my heart because you don't want to accept people for who they are. People always want to say I'm colorblind, or America's a melting pot. Well, if that is truly America is a melting pot, then where's the acceptance, right? 2020 has really awoken me in terms of all the historical context of my life experience and what I've seen and what's been going on in the United States. And especially among realtors. I bring up realtors a lot because, realtors are supposed to be professionals, and realtors are supposed to believe in fair housing and, equal credit opportunity and all that. But yet, they say stupid shit. They say stupid shit like, Ching Chong virus, Kung Flu virus. Those are just words, and they want to serve Irvine community all of a sudden, right? Because that's what makes me feel that, many people just want money and they'll take money from anybody, but they won't validate or acknowledge the fact that they're anti-Asian, or words like that can be anti-Asian, right? If you're a person of color and you're LGBTQ and you're a woman, that's like a triple threat, right? Because we're in a patriarchal society where men like to tell women what to do and how to wear, what to wear, and even with their own bodies, right? Trying to get rid of abortion rights. That's crazy. I feel like we're going to Handmaid's Tale. If you read Handmaid's Tale, the book, or even watched the Netflix series, that's where my fear is going to, right? Handmaid's Tale, right? The apocalypse. If you ever saw X-Men or into comic books culture, right? X-Men was all about equal rights. If you're a comic book fan, you got to understand that. If you're a Star Wars fan, you understand that the rebels, Luke Skywalker, was fighting against the Empire, right? And I feel like people are getting it twisted. Which side is the Empire and which side is the, the rebels? And you know what's funny? If you're a Proud Boy fan, If you're a Proud Boy fan, then you don't understand Star Wars at all, right? Proud Boys, stand down, stand by. That's why I get scared and nervous, right? People say, Kendrick, you're being oversensitive right now because, this is 2020 and this and that. Yeah, I understand. What the fear is, 2020, we're supposed to go forward, not backwards in time. With all that is going on, my profile on Facebook, social media. I'm very open with who I am, of my professional career, what I do, right? I'm open with my sexuality. You know, people ask why you reface yourself into a female. Why not? I don't mind looking that way. That's fine. It's comfortable. I'm comfortable with my own skin. I don't have this male fragility, right? Here's the thing, guys, moving forward, you got to be careful with your words, right? You got to be careful with what you say. Words matter. Actions matter too, right? I lost a lot of friends, realtor colleagues, because of my views. Because like I said in the beginning, Black Lives Matter. I believe that. Trans lives matter. I believe that. I believe in LGBTQ rights, feminism, right? Women equality. And does that mean I hate men? No, I think men should learn how to be allies and what it means to be a man, right? Not this toxic masculinity and rape culture, right? Because we're in a society that's double standard, right? If a woman sleeps around, we call her a slut, but if a man sleeps around, we say, attaboy, right? If a woman is a victim of rape, we say to her, what were you wearing? What shade of lipstick were you wearing? Is it what were you doing to, how about asking, the man, what was he doing? Why did he do what he do, right? We're not raising men. We're not raising little boys or young boys to become men. We're raising them to victimize women. That's the problem. That's why I say, I offended somebody when I said, patriarchy doesn't work. We should make a society matriarchal. I believe in matriarchy. Yes, I truly do. Because I've seen strong women in my life have done more shit than anybody that I know. That what man is supposed to do, right? Now, here's the thing. Am I a man hater? No, I'm not. But I don't have any confidence in men running this country and patriarchy. I don't have any confidence in what I see in men, right? You have a double standard towards women, and you try to take away a woman's rights, and it doesn't make sense. If you're a Christian, gosh, if you're Christian, you shouldn't be racist. If you're Christian, you shouldn't be misogynistic and toxic, have this toxic masculinity. I just don't understand. I'm frustrated. It's like, why do you think women are afraid of us, guys, right? Because they see us as toxic masculinity. They see us as aggressive. Because most cases we are too aggressive. We catcall women and then try to say, oh, don't worry about it. We're just thinking you're pretty. You gaslight and invalidate women experiences, and then you wonder why women don't want to be with you, right? It doesn't make sense, right? And then people ask me, are you gay? And if I was, so what? Is that a problem? Right? Look, the people that ask me that, they're so interested in my sexuality and who I am, right? Who do I identify with? That's really none of your business, but, think what you think, right? Think what you think. I'm always going to be pro-women. I'm always going to be for matriarchy, because I truly believe matriarchy would make a society a better place. That's the bottom line. Matriarchy would make a society a better place. I have my family members who are strong women. Mommy, auntie, that's all I've known and that's all I've seen. I've seen no confidence in men who could step up to the plate and do something, right? All I've seen is talk and toxic masculinity and just, yeah. right? So you know what? Here's the bottom line: don't invalidate women and their experiences and their fears, and don't invalidate the LGBTQ plus community, and respect their pronouns, right? Gender is a social construct, so there's a spectrum of gender identity that people should be aware of. Do not use the Bible and the religion to say male and female. No, right? If you're a true believer in the Bible and Jesus Christ or whatever, then in the Bible it says respect others, right? Oh, and another thing, people say that, am I for defunding the police? Do I hate police officers? No. I have one person who's a police officer that I went to high school with, and she's a wonderful person, and I'm not going to mention her by name because, this is a Facebook Live video, and I don't know how comfortable she is, mentioning her, but she's a wonderful person and a good officer. I mean, this is an officer that many officers should be like her, right? Because she does her job, and she really believes in helping out the community and what police officers should be in terms of protect and serve, right? That is a police officer, and she truly believes that. That's her ethical goal and professional goal. That's why I like her, not only just as a person, but as an officer. So I believe there are good police officers out there. The problem is the bad ones, the corrupt ones. We're not talking about that, right? Society does not want to talk about that, but it's truly a culture of police officers that need to change, that make my friend's job a little harder, because the police culture is stay silent, right? It makes it very hard for good police officers to report the bad ones, right? Because out of fear of backlash, right? Or if you're the rookie cop and you see bad things that the officer is doing and you want to report that, well, you're on a probation period, so you probably have to stay silent, right? So there's a power dynamic that people need to understand. I believe police officers are good, but I don't believe that the bad officers should stay in the police force. And when people say defund the police, people are saying that to use resources for social programs, right? My friend who's an officer that I'm talking about and who I mentioned that's a good officer, she's an officer that, doesn't need to have all the pressure of arresting criminals and at the same time doing all the social work and psychology work at the same time, right? That's a lot of pressure for one group of people, right? Our prison system, almost half the population in jails and prisons are for drug users and addicted people. They made some mistakes, right? That's about 50% of the prison population across this country. So we should have more drug reforms in terms of counseling and rehab, right? Right? And police should focus more on the hardened criminals, right? I mean, it's hard to have police officers deal with mental health issues, poverty, social work. You expect the police to do everything and solve the world's problem, and they need help, right? So I'm not anti-police. I'm anti-police corruption. I'm anti-police brutality. That's horrible, right? And people ask me, well, what about what your police friends think? To be honest, I don't know what she thinks. I've never really reached out and talked to her about what she thinks about my views when I say Black Lives Matter and when I say, that I'm for police reform, right? And I believe that police brutality is wrong. I don't know what she would say. I could only assume. But from my perspective of what I know of her as a good police officer, I think she would understand. And I also think that she doesn't want police brutality. She wants to have a good police force that believes like her in terms of protecting and serving our community, right? Because that's what she got into the police force for, right? She's risking her life to bring good to the community and change the world. And I think that's what reality should be for many police officers like her, right? So don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong that yes, I'm anti-police. I'm not. I'm anti-police brutality, right? That's what I'm for. I believe in 2020 these race relations have gone has gone to hell, right? And as I mentioned many times, people try to tell me what is or is not anti-Asian behavior, right? Or don't say the Chinese virus, don't say a Kung Flu virus, don't say Wu Flang Fu virus. That's not right. That's incorrect. It's offensive. No, there's just words. Now, and I'm looking at them. I'm thinking, well, okay, I guess you're Asian now because you must understand my Asian experience, right? If you met me before 2020, if you've known me for a long time, I take jokes, and I'm a pretty chill guy, right? But 2020 has been like, people look at me and they call me the virus, or they look at me and they kind of walk away because they're afraid I might give them the virus. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, just 1990 all over again, right? Racist people can't tell the difference between a Korean, Vietnamese, Filipino. We're all the same, right? And that's wrong. I know I talked about a lot of issues, and this is a long video, but I'm telling you, we need to change as a society. We also need to stop saying that police officers are bad when there are a lot of good ones out there. We should start saying the statement, police corruption and police brutality is bad, right? But I understand a lot of anger, right? I mean, believe it or not, I've been called the N-word by a police officer. And I had this look on my face, and my friends had this look on their faces too. Like, you do know this guy's Asian and you're calling him the N-word, right? And this was in Hawaiian Gardens back in the 90s, and I thought, okay, I don't know what to say, right? But even with that experience, I still believe that there are some good police officers out there, and there are police officers that want to make that change. And the only reason why I believe that is because my friend from high school, she's a police officer, and she wants to do good in society and for her family. So, I'm not going to mention her by name, but some of you that may know who I'm talking about, give some love and props to her. All right. And the LGBTQ community, you got my love. I'm an ally. Trans people, you got my love. Trans men are men. Trans women are women. I truly believe that and respect that. You don't know what others are going through. So when you joke around with the words, just be careful with what you say. And, if you see a police officer and you feel scared, just hold your tongue. Just hold your tongue, right? Because you don't know what that police officer is going through either. And not only that, unless you directly experience a bad thing from that particular police officer, try to give police officers a chance, right? But if you truly are in fear for your life, which is sad, then you need to always film and be in a group, right? I tell my family members, do not ever walk outside of the house by yourself. Be in a group or take me with you. And that fear is real because people will say we are the virus, and we're not. And people have to make commercials, and CDC have to make commercials saying that Asians aren't the virus. And you know how sad that is? This year, and even that didn't work because even today, in 2020, people will write on their wall, Kung Flu virus or Ching Chong virus. And what I don't understand about a lot of realtors out there, especially, you write that on your wall or write that on my wall, and you don't think that other consumers will look at you? I'm just saying. Anyways, I know I rambled on a lot, and I had a lot to say, but here's the summary. I believe there are good police officers. I'm for the police force. I'm not for police brutality. I'm against police brutality. I'm against corrupt police, and I think there needs to be some reform in the police culture. I believe there should be criminal justice reform, right? I believe a lot of the drug offenses and the addiction that's going on in the United States and the mental health issues, most of the prison population and jail populations are filled with mental health prisoners and drug addicted prisoners that make up 50% of that prison population, and that could be used for drug rehab programs and counseling, right? That's going to be better use of the tax dollars. I believe we should have more police officers like my friend, who maybe could help training these officers not to shoot and kill people that are corrupt, right? And maybe this police officer that I know from my high school, she could also be the change in making things happen, right? That's why I don't judge police, right? I judge them on their character and action. And I'm proud to say I know one officer from my high school that is doing that, right? I also believe in Black Lives Matter. I don't see nothing wrong with that. If Christians come at me and say, well, all lives matter, I would refer you guys to Luke chapter 15 about the shepherd and his sheep, where that one sheep got lost and that shepherd went after that one sheep and left the 99. Yeah, because that one sheep was in danger right now. That's why Black Lives Matter. And if you are for all lives matter, then you shouldn't have any problem saying Black Lives Matter, because that includes black lives, black children, black women. People need to understand that it shouldn't be triggered. Because if you are, then you're truly anti-black. That's just simple, right? And if you're truly offended by what I say, and you're truly offended by my face, and you're brave enough to call me the virus, like some of you have done, then yeah, then you're anti-Asian. Simple, right? And you should be for pro-choice, because women's body is their body. It's none of your business what a woman does with her body. You shouldn't have double standard against women and girls, right? Women and girls are just as strong as men. They could do what men do, right? In terms of police force, in terms of air force, in terms of military, in terms of anything they do, right? You got to understand that. And, don't be double standard where telling a little girl or a woman what to dress, or you shouldn't dress like that. If you are doing that because you are turned on by that, then you're the problem, not the little girl or not the woman, right? And this toxic masculinity has to stop. This rape culture has to stop. And you just gotta stop. And again, I truly believe in matriarchal society. I think women, if they ran this world, I think the world would be a better place that I could live in, right? And last thing, just be careful with what you say in your words, right? Don't joke around and say, Hu Flung Poo, Ching Chong virus. It's not funny. This isn't 2018 or 19 where people could take a joke anymore. Because it's not. Because, the Asian community has been so victimized and amplified this year. It's like all the anti-Asian history that's been going on in this country, starting from the Chinese railroads that, the Chinese helped build, just amplified all combined in 2020, where you try to set an 89-year-old grandmother's hair on fire in the East Coast in New York area, right? In July, because you thought she was the virus, and she happens to be Asian. You hit a 89-year-old grandpa just sitting minding his own business because you thought he was the virus. All of that stuff going on, no one's talking about, right? Which is okay. The media doesn't cover it as much, And even in Congress, the anti-Asian protection bill, right? Republicans in Congress turned that down. Like, all the Republicans feel that there is no anti-Asian behavior. Asians are okay. Like, Asians are not even a people of color, so there's no racism, right, towards us. And that's how I feel. Like, you guys invalidate us and just, like, we're just there, right? So I'm off my soapbox. I'm sorry for this long video. I just wanted to share my thoughts and why I post the way I post. And I hope you all have a good Friday and happy October.